Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Okay, welcome to Talking Politics. My name is Robert Press. I am a reporter, as you can see by my official press card. I write for the Bronx Post and the Parkchester Times. Both, like this show, are part of Muslim Media Corporation. I also contribute to the Co-op City News, along with my blog at www.100%.blogspot.com and Facebook pages 100% and What is Going On in Your Community Board. The views expressed on this show are that of the host, any guest, or anyone who is commenting at the bottom of the screen. Let's go to a quick weather report. While it may not get above 35 today and 37 on Saturday, the high on Sunday is expected to be about 45 degrees. Monday brings a heat wave with the temperature going over 50, and Tuesday should be in the mid-50s with rain likely starting towards the middle of the week. Now, one interesting note is that South Korean lawmakers have begun impeachment proceedings against President Yoon Suk-yeol, I hope I got that right, after he briefly imposed martial law and then reversed course on a decision just hours later. He claimed martial law was necessary to protect the country from North Korea's communist forces and to eliminate anti-state elements. However, the move came as Yoon is embroiled in a dispute with the opposition lawmakers over budget proposals and mired in a series of scandals linked to influence peddling. With the Donald Trump presidency, there was a meeting of the Bronx Republican women, which has nothing to do with South Korea. And I have as my guest Rochelle Medina, who is one of the leaders of the New Bronx Republican Women's Club. So let me welcome Rochelle to the show. Are you here, Rochelle?
I'm here. Hi, Bob.
Okay. I'm just going to go into a little bit about the vote. Okay. It appears that in every neighborhood in New York City, from Red Hook to Brooklyn to Riverdale in the Bronx, the Vice President Kamala Harris received markedly lower votes than Joe Biden did in 2020. While in most neighborhoods, Donald Trump notched modest increases compared to his last run. For instance, when we look citywide, she got 573,600 votes, approximately less than President Biden did in 2020, while President-elect Trump got 94,600 votes more than he did in 2020. And as far as the Bronx goes, Vice President Harris had 111,000 votes less, and Donald Trump had 23,800 more. This was in about 3 million ballots were cast in New York City in 2020, and only about 2.6 million here in 2024. It appears many New Yorkers moved out of the city during the pandemic. The total numbers of registered voters have already started to drop. And even just 54% of eligible voters have cast their ballot in New York City this past year. So it was the second largest city with the lowest voter turnout. Now, what do you attribute the increase in vote to Donald Trump in the Bronx?
I feel that people were personally getting affected. Before, people listened to politics, or they didn't, but they would get an opinion based on what was going on in the world. But now, the amount of effect it's having on people's personal lives, especially financially and safety, is has created people to wake up and notice that what they're standing for is not what it's not the people's in their.
Let me just add that Democratic registration has dropped 7% in the past 4 years, while the Republicans have increased about 4%. Democrats saw their registration plummet by over 258,000 people, while there are 3.4 registered Democrats, according to the New York City Board of Elections. The Republicans saw a modest gain of about 2%, or around 68,000 votes statewide, bringing the Republican Party to almost 3 million voters statewide. Now, President-elect Trump drew 44% of the vote in New York State to 56 of Kamala Harris. And in 2022, Democratic Kathy Hochul won the race for governor by just 6 percentage points, 53 to 47, over Republican Lee Zeldin, a former House member, who is now going to be Donald Trump's environmental protection advisor. Do you see, and we see here in District 13, we have a Republican councilwoman, Christy Marmorato, who is doing a terrific job. Well, you tell us how she's doing. I'm supposed to be unbiased.
She's doing a fantastic job. She's very engaged. If anybody calls her with an issue, she seems to be right there on top of it and works really hard. She's actually done many things in our community that we were waiting for to happen for a long time, and she's definitely taking those steps. And I think being engaged is half the battle. When she was running for election, she would go to the train stations, for instance, at 6 a.m. and engage with the people, and they could see she was real. And I think that's the message that's carrying over, is that it's not an agenda. It's actually people really wanting to make a difference and change things for us to have a better quality of life, like we always had.
For instance, with the City of Yes vote, she voted no against the City of Yes, as did Councilman Eric Dinowitz, the only two Bronx members of the Bronx Council delegation who voted against the City of Yes. And they are the two with the, interestingly, middle class, or I should say, suburban areas. Riverdale is considered a suburban area, as well as, say, the Morris Park area at the East Bronx is considered a suburban area. Now, why the City of Yes is needed when the East Bronx is getting the Metro North stations, which will bring in, 70,000 new apartments, or 7,000 new apartments, pardon me. And in the Allerton section, there's about 1,000 apartments going up or in process of being, built. So why does the East Bronx really doesn't need the City of Yes? We're producing new apartments. So
right.
You want to talk?
Yeah, it seems like any low density area, they're going after to create these mini cities in all these different areas, which it's the opposite of what they're saying. It's actually making it more unaffordable. If you're in the Morris Park community and you're looking for an apartment, there's many small apartment buildings where people have extra apartments in their homes that they rent out, and it's pretty affordable considering the price of rent in most New York City neighborhoods. And they're going to destroy all that. And it is very curious why. Why do we need, why do we need all these, the Metro North and the City of Yes? How many different housing issues do we have to deal with at one time? We have the Jacoby issue too, the 1900.
Right, I was going to get into that, but let me just say one thing about the Metro North. When I lived in Riverdale, we had two Metro North stations. In North Riverdale, we had one, and in South Riverdale. Both had parking lots where I used to be able to drive to the Metro North station, park my car, get on the train, and go downtown. We're not, hopefully we have our councilwoman. I'm in the Morris Park section now, in the same area where Rochelle lives. And the councilwoman has fought for a parking lot at the new Metro North station. We'll see what happens with the City of Yes, if they eliminate that or not, or what the parking mandates now. From what I understand, the Throgs Neck area will be in part 3 of this. There's a 3-part parking in the City of Yes. Part 3, where Throgs Neck will be, is supposedly going to be continuing its parking mandates as it is. Part two, where we are, is in, or I should say the Morris Park area, it will be in part two, which will be a reduced parking mandate. Now, as I know where you live by Jacoby Hospital, and the staff at Jacoby parks anywhere they can around the hospital. Am I right on that?
Yes, we have great parking when it's not a work day, but during the work day, there's no parking available at all. You have to drive around, or most of the driveways are shared driveways, so it's not even possible to use your own driveway sometimes because there's multiple homes using the same driveway. Yeah, it's sad that the amount of buildings we already have with the hospitals. We have numerous hospitals and medical facilities, and they all require parking. And I don't understand why, with the road diets and everything else, why they would.
All right. Let's get on to the meat of this discussion right now. The Bronx Woman Republican Party has just started. You're one of the presidents. All right. What is the goal of the Bronx Republican Women's Party?
So watching the Democrat Party be in charge these last 4 years and watch the decline of the quality of American life has started tormenting me. I thought about my daughters and my granddaughters, and I felt like something has to be done. And so through the issues we're having in the community, I got to know a lot of local residents, and we became friendly. And Lisa DiTomaso and I started talking, and we said maybe we can get a Republican club going. We need to spread the message of the Republican message, which has always been lied about. I mean, we're the party that freed the slaves, that fought against civil rights. We're the party of free enterprise and low taxes, and the message is always lied about, like, oh, they care about the wealthy. It's actually the middle class that benefits the most from the Republican Party. So we want to reach out to different communities and get the message out there, and also help with any voting. Any new elections, knock on doors, get people to sign up and register. Reach out to communities that need help, and see where we can help out when people are in need. We want to make a difference. I met so many great Bronx women that are strong and really want to be involved, and a lot of the time we don't know where to go to help, and so we wanted to create something that we could create a group and make it bigger and bigger and get across the whole Bronx and turn the Bronx red fully.
Now, before I let you go, President Joe Biden decided to pardon his son Hunter on the charges that he was facing. What is your opinion of the Biden pardon of his son?
I knew the minute he said he was not going to pardon him that was a lie. The lies come out of his mouth very easily. As a parent, I guess I could, even understand if you have the ability to let your son not go to jail, you're going to do that, obviously. But it just goes to show the bipartisan, way that they operate. Just whatever's good for them, but the other people, they have to deal with the consequences.
And before I let you go, 3 people have already filed to run for the 13th Council District against current Councilwoman Christy Marmorato. They are all Democrats. One is David Diaz, who is from City Island. One is Shirley Aldebal, who is the vice chair of the 32BJ union, which supported Marjorie Velazquez 2 years ago against who was an incumbent. So now I guess since Marjorie lost, they're sending their big guns in. And just recently, the 80th Assembly District State Committee woman, Fiona Reitz, has declared she is the chief of staff to Oswald Felice. So, I guess you're going to be gearing up for the re-election of Christy Marmorato for council.
Definitely will be willing to help in any way we can. And I think actions speak louder than words. Christy's commitment to the community is showing all the areas that she's a councilwoman. And I think that the Democrat Party doesn't just have the bull by the horns anymore. They can't just say I'm a Democrat and win anymore, because now people are waking up to the realities of who they are.
Okay, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I have to go to a commercial now. When I come back, I'll have more information, which includes a House staffer who has been fired for carrying ammunition into the U.S. Capitol, information about Jerry Nadler, and the Richie Torres Governor Kathy Hochul fight. So let me go to a commercial right now, and I'll be back once the commercial's over.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Once again, I want to thank Rochelle for coming on the show to discuss a little bit about the new Bronx Republican Club. And AJ, I see your comments on the bottom. If you want to come on and talk to the show, I'll be glad to have you on, AJ. Let me get into some other news quickly. President-elect Donald Trump is demanding that the immediate release of Israeli hostages still being held in Gaza and American hostages, writing on his Truth Social that if they are not freed before he is sworn into office for a second term, there will be hell to pay. New York City Mayor Eric Adams wants to meet with the incoming border czar to discuss the impending plans for mass deportations. He has a December 12th meeting with him, Tom Homan, who is the former Immigration Customs Enforcement official who Donald Trump tapped to handling immigration matters. And Mayor Adams says, we're not talking about those who are stealing apples. We want to get rid of the criminals. Now, as I said, the House staffer, there was a staffer for Congressman Joe Morrell, who was charged by the U.S. Capitol for carrying unlawful ammunition on the Capitol grounds. Monday, the staffer has since lost his job. The Capitol Police said in a statement that Michael Hopkins entered the Capitol House building, put his duffel bag through a screening where the authorities detected what appeared to be ammunition in the X-ray screen. A hand search found four ammunition magazines and 11 rounds of ammo. He was charged with unlawful possession of ammunition, including one charge for possession of a high-caliber capacity magazine. Hopkins told the authorities he forgot the ammunition was in the bag. Now, as far as Jerry Nadler, he has been the senior member of the House Judiciary Committee. He is stepped down as that, and Maryland Congressman James Raskin will be the new head of the House Judiciary Committee. Although I will be the ranking member, I will not be the ranking member, Nadler said. I will still be active on the committee, and I am eager to work alongside its new leadership in the battle to protect our most valuable communities and our most precious democratic ideas. Nadler added he had been the top Judiciary Committee Democrat since 2017. On to the Richie Torres Kathy Hochul race. It is appearing that Congressman Richie Torres is preparing a run for governor against a populist Democrat eager to trash the far left of his party. But as the specter of a Torres bid grows, he will increasingly have to contend with the political positions of his past, including early support for the now unpopular defund the police. I am not in favor of more police. I'm actually in favor of defunding the police, Torres said in a resurfaced interview with a radio station, Hot 97, which occurred in June of 2020 following the murder of George Floyd. There needs to be a radical distribution of resources from policing into social services and community-based alternatives to overcrime criminalization, he added during the interview. Do you support the fund the police as a movement? He was asked by the radio host, to which Torres responded, I do, and the city council supports it. We put forward a proposal by defunding the NYPD by $1 billion. Well, these days, the congressman blames the far left flank of his party for sinking the Democratic White House bid and ushering in Donald Trump's reelection. Since declaring he is considering running for governor last month, the 36-year-old Democrat has learned his style of unrestrained criticism that includes continuing to blast Kathy Hochul, but he is also contending with what he has said in the Post. The New York Post appears to be intrigued by Torres' potential bid and nonetheless published a 2022 questionnaire, which he said he would refuse political contributions from police unions and grant citizenship to all undocumented immigrants. In 2020, Torres says, I ran for Congress, the DSA, Working Families Party, and the Defund the Police movement did everything it could to derail my candidacy. He added, the defund police movement is dead in New York City, he said in an interview with MSNBC. Anybody who is advocating for the abolishment or even the defunding police is out of touch with reality and should not be taken seriously. Governor Hochul sees a political upside in Torres' shift. She says it's time for Richie Torres to take his own advice and engage in some serious self-reflection. As he once said, any elected official who advocates for defunding the police should not be taken seriously. Hochul campaign spokesman Jen Goodman said in a statement. However, in 2012, Governor Hochul earned, or I should say Congresswoman Hochul earned an A rating from the National Rifle Association during her unsuccessful bid to be reelected to Congress upstate. Torres has pointed that out. He has also rallied against Hochul's reversal and subsequent re-reversal on Manhattan's congestion pricing. A deer in headlights like Kathy Hochul, who stands for nothing and inspires nobody, has never spoken with moral clarity on any issue, let alone public safety, Torres said. And as far as Kathy Hochul goes, she's giving $100 million to enhance the resiliency of state highways in 70 locations across New York State impacted by the extreme weather. A total of 551 lane miles of state highways in every region of the state will be repaved. Now, who's getting the money? The Capital Region will be getting $10.4 million for 9 roads. The North County Region, $9.9 million for 11 roads. Mohawk Valley Region, $4.3 million for 3 roads. Central New York Region, $10.8 million for 8 roads. Finger Lakes Region, $13.5 million for 7 roads. Western New York Region, $10.6 million for 17 roads. Southern Tier Region, $12.9 million for 9 roads. Mid-Hudson Region, $16.5 million for 4 major roads. Long Island Region, $7 million to resurface Route 27, South Service Road between Pond Road and Route 97 in the town of Islip. Suffolk County, which just happens to be near the Jake's 57 casino. And what is New York City getting? They are getting $4 million to resurface the Jackie Robinson Parkway, formerly known as the Interborough Parkway. Now, a day after United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was fatally shot on Wednesday on a New York City sidewalk, police still have not found the shooter, but they have released photos of a person wanted for questioning. 2 surveillance photos show a person of interest without a face mask wearing a hooded jacket similar to one worn by the masked person captured on photos and video from Wednesday's shooting early morning outside the Hilton Hotel in Manhattan. This does not appear to be a random act of violence, the New York City Police Department wrote in a statement accompanying the photos made public Thursday. All indications are that it was premeditated, targeted attack. Near the hotel, investigators discovered a cell phone that began to analyze forensically, as well as 3 bullet casings described with the words deny, defend, and depose. Multiple news outlets reported Thursday. Those terms have been used and have been associated with the insurance company's strategies for rejecting claims, but police said they are still working to determine the shooter's motive. Before 7 a.m. Wednesday morning, a masked gunman waited outside the Hilton for several minutes before the 50-year-old Thompson neared the building where he was scheduled to attend the company's annual conference. Now, Councilman Lincoln Ressler is going after Mayor Adams' matching funds. He says that Mayor Adams should not be given the matching funds, considering that he is under indictment. The reputation and credibility of our campaign finance board is much at stake with this decision, Ressler says. Adams is looking for $4 million in campaign fund matching funds that are due December 16th. Paul Ryan, the executive director of the campaign finance board, refused to address questions about Adams specifically on the hearing, citing agency policy and ongoing audit. I have every bit of confidence that our board's going to do a great job in a week and a half and make the appropriate public funding decisions based on all the available facts and information, he said. Russell's question to Ryan did not focus on federal indictment accusing Adams of running an illegal straw donor campaign, but rather on his campaign lack of constant responses to the campaign finance board flagging issues with campaigns. Adams' campaign said that it argued it didn't need to respond, and Ryan confirmed Wednesday the CFB statement reviews are not a firm demand for documents or information. While the field of candidates seems to be growing, there is only one woman in this field of candidates who are running for mayor. That is State Senator Jessica Ramos. Wall Street investor Whitney Tilson and former Assemblyman Michael Blake have joined Brad Lander, Assemblymember Zoran Mamdi, and State Senator Zelma Myrie, former Controller Scott Stringer, and former U.S. Attorney Jim Walden, who are all men and are all considered serious contenders, including former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is rumored to be seriously considering a run to the mayorship. Now, as far as policy goes, the Adams administration is considering granting the 34th Street Partnership, a business improvement district that manages public space in and around Bryant Park and Harold and Greeley Squares, the power to issue parking tickets. That would be the first bid to receive permission to give parking tickets. Now, I don't know. I can't understand how a bid can be issuing parking tickets. That has to be an enforcement agent, but we'll see what happens. As far as the red light cameras, the New York State Appellate Division ruled that the administrative fees that Nassau and Suffolk counties have been charging for red light camera tickets are illegal, which began in 2010. The appellate division sent both cases back to the county, state, and Supreme Court to determine how much money the counties owe. $239 million had been collected in fines and fees. The base fee for a red light camera violation is $50, but Nassau County charged red light runners an extra $100 in driver responsibility and public safety fees for a total of $150 a ticket. Suffolk County had charged a $30 administration fee, but stopped it in 2023. Both Nassau and Suffolk Appellate Division said the defendant's imposition of money liability for a red light camera violation in excess of $50 or $75, which is a late fee, is unconstitutional, preemptive, void, and otherwise illegal. According to Newsday, a Long Island newspaper, Suffolk County ended its red light program on Monday. 2 items left. The first one is the 32 BJ staff is looking to unionize. That's the staff with the Powerful Service Workers Union, 32 BJSEIU, are looking to unionize themselves and have officially requested that leadership remain neutral while they are organizing. They went public at the end of August with their efforts to organize. Monday evening, organizers and allies delivered a petition to support the 32 BJ unionization to President Manny Pastrych and other top union officials, which was signed by more than 800 people, expressing the hope that the union's management will not interfere with the staff's right to organize. As labor activists, organizers, and leaders, we deeply believe all workers, including union staff, deserve dignity, respect, and a democratic voice on the job, the petition reads. Along with the petition, organizers with staff union presented 32 BJ leadership with a series of demands. First, they asked union leadership send a letter of neutrality to all employees committing to non-interference, as 32 BJ frequently requests of employers when they are trying to organize workers. Organizers also asked that the leadership make sure that union materials are not removed from public areas where they are placed. and that finally they asked that the union refrain from circulating or coordinating anti-union petitions, which several members have said that they have been approached by the union to say that, and they've been told we don't really need this, and other conversations that employees was asked to sign an anti-union petition. Perhaps maybe we should ask City Council candidate Shirley Aldebol, who is the vice chair of 32BJ, about this. Does Shirley Aldebol, who is the vice chair of 32BJ, want their staff to be unionized or not? After all, she is running for city council, and she will have to answer that question at debates. Why don't you support your union staff in their attempt to unionize? And my last piece will be on the City of Yes housing deal, of which the vote was 30-21, and the only two Bronx City Council members to vote against the City of Yes for housing deal was City Council member Eric Dinowitz of Riverdale and City Councilwoman Christy Marmorato of the East Bronx. Now, highlights of this historic City of Yes agreement is creating the uniform affordability preference, allowing about roughly 20% of more housing in medium and high density developments if the additional homes or units, I should say, not homes, they're units, are permanently affordable. Legalizing small accessory dwelling units or ADUs for 1 and 2 family homes with some restrictions in limited areas concerned around flooding and neighborhood context. The small homes, which include backyard cottages and converted garages, can give homeowners extra income and allow families to age in place. Hopefully there'll be debates when the primary comes around. Now, another point is permitting transit-oriented development in town center zoning to create 3, 4, and 5-story apartment buildings near transit along commercial corridors, respectively, with affordability incentives for projects with more than roughly 50 units. The city council said homes, it is units, not homes. And does this mean that your local, say, store across the street from you or nearby you or a strip mall will be torn down to create housing? They don't say. They also allowed height-limited contextual development on large campuses or lots, including those owned by faith-based organizations that previously could not use their existing development rights of outdated and conflicting rules, as my producer is telling me to wrap it up. Rolling back parking mandates for new residential construction, as I mentioned with Rochelle from the Bronx Republican Party, enacting new high-density zoning districts that would allow more housing, including mandatory affordable housing in high-demand central areas where it's urgently needing, legalizing small and shared housing models with common facilities like kitchens and bathrooms, making it easier to convert office and other non-residential buildings into housing. Now, there is a $5 billion investment towards this, which certain council members said, oh, well, because they're investing $5 million in infrastructure updates, housing, other things, including sewer and flood infrastructure, street improvements and open space. The city will spend also $1 billion in expense funding over 10 years for tenant protection, voucher assistance, flood monitoring, and neighborhood planning. And the governor is committing another $1 billion. This is part of the $5 billion, that is, to housing capital over the next 5 years, subject to state approval. Now, where they're going to get this $5 billion when Mayor Adams says he has to cut funding because he's overrun with immigrants, but now he says, well, we don't have that many immigrants. They're not coming in. They used to come in by the thousands. Now they're coming in by a couple of hundred at a time. So now we have money for these improvements. But you know what, Mayor Adams? You're going to have to redo the whole city. You're going to have to put in larger water pipes, larger sewer pipes, and fix your street because you're going to be ripping up the streets. And let me end there. I'm getting on a tirade here. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you, AJ, for commenting. Anyone else who commented. And yes, I know we're changing from Muslim media to Bronx, whatever it is. I'll get that in a moment. We're changing our name to Bronx to Parrot Media Corporation. That's it. And I'd like, once again, I want to thank you for watching, and I want to make the 35-minute mark. So thank you and goodbye.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Keep watching The Politics every Friday.